Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. We all know that dating apps are a place where nightmares are made. There are a lot of people who should not be out in the world interacting with other people, let alone dating them. We've all spent time on dating apps for the most part, right? Like some of it has been successful, some of it has been unsuccessful. I met my partner on Hinge, so obviously sometimes it works out. But there are also a lot of bad interactions that happen on dating apps. We've seen examples through some of my videos in the past. We've probably all had our own bad experiences on dating apps. And so I asked you to email me in some of your bad experiences you've had on dating apps. And I wanted to sit down and share that because I think that there's something extra relatable about it when it comes from, from the community, So yeah, today I'm going to be sharing some of your bad dating app experiences. And oh my God, some of these. And if you are interested in seeing more videos like this and bringing back my Dear Kiwi series, then please do not forget to leave a like to let me know that you would like to see more of them. And also while you're down there, please do not forget to hit subscribe. Over 50% of you are regular viewers but are not subscribed, and it genuinely helps me out so much and I appreciate it. I'm trying to hit 500k by the end of the year and I would love if you helped me get there. And with all of that being said, let's have a dive into some dating app nightmares, shall we? Hello, Savannah. Hope you are well. Where to start with dating apps? They're just a hard place to be on at the best of times, especially as someone who is trans femme, a lot of transphobia and people not realizing you're trans, but unmatching when they do. It's a lot for sure. I can imagine that it would be difficult to be trans on dating apps because there is an unfortunate amount of transphobia out there. And I apologize to anyone who is trans who experiences so much just bullshit on dating apps because it must fucking suck. However, my worst date, and I understand this won't be as bad as others, but it was still uncomfortable. My first ever date I went on was with this girl. So I first messaged her on Bumble and we were talking for a while, moved over to Discord, primary messaging platform for me, and did a few calls throughout the week leading to the date. We got on very well, did a bit of video calling, it seemed to be going well, and I was excited for the date. I got ready and then went out to meet her. I met her off her bus and she just did not talk. I was confused, so we got to a restaurant, ordered food, still did not get much out of her. But yeah, she ended up trying to steal my phone a few times. I felt so fucking uncomfortable, so I went to the toilet to message a friend advice on what to do. He said to keep at it and hope it gets better, so I did. We walked around the city for a bit, still not really much cheddar. Then at one point, I got so fucking uncomfortable, I just had to leave. I walked her to the bus station, and she didn't even say goodbye. And we didn't talk again. So obviously, not the worst story in the world, but still an awful and very uncomfortable date for sure. So I thought it was worth sending in. Listen, this is so confusing. I'm so baffled by this. I personally have never called or video called or anything with a person I've been talking to before meeting up with them. Seems like a really smart idea though. Kind of love that for you. But it makes it so much more confusing. I don't understand how you can be having good conversation and getting on with someone over calls and especially over video calls. And then when you meet up in person, they're just not responsive, and not only not responsive, but then they tried to steal your phone and they weren't even trying to be nice and hold conversation, didn't even say goodbye. That's so confusing. I really do not understand how this even happened. I'm really sorry that this happened. There's nothing more frustrating than having to hold a conversation and getting short answers in return and having to keep trying to build a conversation when you are getting nothing. It is so frustrating and uncomfortable. And I've been in so many situations like that where it's you try to ask questions and learn more about them and they just not giving you anything to work with. So it goes into awkward silence and you're I need to say more things because this is awkward now. And they don't try. And oh my God, it makes you want to smash your head into a wall. So I feel for you. I feel for you so much. And I'm sorry this was your experience. I'm also really confused by this. Why would you spend time video calling someone and then go with them to just not talk to them? You knew what you were getting into. So why did you go if you weren't interested? I don't understand. I hope you've had more luck since then though, because I don't know what's going on here. So I, 22 female at the time, matched with this guy, 25 male, on Hinge, and he wanted to take me to a different state on a first date. In his defense, it was only a couple hours drive from where I live, but I was like, what if we go got dinner instead? And he agreed. Okay, so just interrupting for a second, I am obsessed with the US because to me, a couple hour drive, there's no only ahead of that. You don't put only in front of a couple hour drive. Those don't exist together. A 2-hour drive, that's how far I'm going to like go on holiday where I'm staying for like several days. I'm not doing that for a date ever. I'm not doing that to go anywhere. Actually, the chances of me going somewhere 2 hours one way and 2 hours back, incredibly low. The fact that that's like just a normal, like, yeah, I'll do that. That's a casual everyday thing. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But, you know, go off. Anyway, a few days before the date, he told me that I would have to pick him up and that he lived at home, so his parents would like to meet me. I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, and he was fine with that. Fair. I do love being like, you have to meet my parents. And when you're like, no, I don't. He's like, oh yeah, no, fair enough. That does remind me though, I'm so sorry for self-inserting myself, but that's the fun of these. That reminds me of this one guy I went out with a few times back in 2019, I think, the end of 2019. Yeah, we were just like casual, right? Like he stayed the night at my place a couple times. I stayed the night at his place a couple times. We weren't like dating or anything. But one time I went to his house to stay the night. And then his parents were there and were like, you have to have dinner with us. Then I ended up having dinner with this guy's family. So, bro, my guy. We've gone out 4 times. Never on a proper date, mind you. You came to my house or I went to your house. That was the extent of our relationship. It was purely like a casual hookup situation. Why am I having dinner with your family right now? What is happening? And yeah, then I didn't ever see him again because I moved to London. That was weird. That was strange. Yeah, good on you for saying no, because it's a weird situation to do. I'll give you that from experience. It was the day we were supposed to meet for dinner and my best friend's brother got murdered. Holy shit. I'm fucking sorry. Fucking Jesus Christ. I told the guy, unfortunately, I wouldn't make it because of that, and the guy sent me a link to a news article about my friend's brother and was like, is this him? Because honestly, this story is kind of unbelievable, and it's a shitty way to try to get out of a date. Amongst this and all the other red flags, I ghosted this person. Then about 3 months later, he voice called me in the middle of the night and left me a voicemail that said, hey, we were supposed to go out a while ago, but you ghosted me after you lied to me about your friend's brother getting killed. But that's okay, I just wanted to eat your pussy anyways. After that, I blocked him, but this guy was so weird. Yeah, that's... what the fuck? Oh my god. Imagine telling someone like, hey, I can't go out because my friend's brother was murdered, which I think is, you know, an incredibly valid reason to not want to go on a date. And he hits you with, you're lying. You're making that up. Why would you why wouldn't you just give me a normal excuse? This is pretty unbelievable. Yeah, it is pretty unbelievable, which is why no one in their right fucking mind is going to use that as an excuse unless it's real. Like, bro, no one's lying to you about that. Who is thinking of that as an elaborate lie? Like, if someone says that to you, it did happen. And then the voice call 3 months later is next level. That's so funny and so ridiculous. Like, my guy, let it go. It didn't happen. It's okay. I don't know why you need to call and be like, I didn't even care anyway. Then why are you still thinking about them 3 months later? Get over it. And this is why so many people choose to just delete dating apps and quit them, because they are far too stressful. They are such a stressful place to be. And on the topic of quitting and stress, I would like to take a moment to tell you about today's sponsor, Fume. Stress can lead to a lot of people picking up a lot of bad habits. For me, I overbrush my teeth and I isolate myself from people when I'm overly stressed. And for some people, it can be going and doing like retail therapy, and for others it is vaping. And if that last one resonates with you, then I would love to introduce you to today's sponsor, Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that provides you with all of the motions of vaping, from the oral fixation to the fidgeting to the flavor, but instead of filling your lungs with vapor, all it does is fill your mouth with a delicious flavor. It fills that void of when you try to quit vaping and you go to reach for your vape, you can instead reach for fume and have that similar experience without any of the negative consequences attached to that. It is important to note that fume will not help with nicotine addictions and withdrawals, as it is completely natural and drug-free, but it does help that transition away from it easier by giving you something to replace that motion with and fill that void that is left. Quitting cold turkey can be an incredibly difficult thing, and it has been proven that having something to help you transition away is a much easier way for a lot of people to go about it, and that is what fume is so good for. It helps make that transition away from a bad and unhealthy habit that little bit easier. If you would like to break your bad habit, then you can go to tryfume.com/queerkiwi or use the QR code up on the screen right now or the link in the description and use code queerkiwi. You will get your free fume topper when you order your journey pack today. Thank you so much, Fume, for sponsoring today's video, and I hope that it helps make any of your lives a little bit easier. Jumping back into the stories, there's this one that is really long, but an absolute roller coaster. So I need you to all buckle in for it. Okay, are we ready to dive in? Hi Kiwi, this is my first date horror story. For reference, I'm a straight transgender woman. I used to go to an all-boys school in my small hometown of 30,000 people. When I was in this school and still presenting masculine, I had a 4-year-long relationship with another student of my school who, for simplicity's sake, I will call James. James and I were dating from ages 14 to 18. We had always gotten on well, and he was very accepting of my trans identity, preferred pronouns, and preferred name. He never dead named me and was all around the perfect partner. However, once we started nearing 18, things started to change about James. His parents converted to Jehovah's Witness, and they were slowly pressuring him into being more and more religious. His parents painted me as the enemy, someone in his way of getting closer to Jesus because of my identity. I tried to push back, but James had a very close relationship with his parents, and he slowly started drifting away from our LGBTQ+ friend group until I was the only person he was still talking to. Our relationship became less about love and more about trying to detransition me back to a man and shifting our relationship to a more acceptable cis male friendship. This is so sad for so many reasons. Not only obviously is he cutting off his friends because his parents are like forcing this like homophobic agenda on him, and he's slowly becoming more and more involved in that, which is wild to be like nearing 18 and now adapting and moving away from something that you've always known to be true. I'm presuming that he himself is queer. And so not only is he being forced away from his queer friends, he's also being forced away from his own queer identity. And I think it's so interesting to spend all this time prior having like a trans partner for 4 years and having queer friends. And then like now that you're nearly 18, you start moving away from it because of the brainwashing your parents are going through now. Like, I find that such a fascinating thing to do closer to adulthood. I don't know. I find that really interesting and incredibly sad. And I'm like so curious to know what was going on in his house and the conversations that his parents were having and how they were pushing this on him. But like the fact that he didn't push back at all is upsetting. Once we finished our final exams for high school, I said to him, look, this relationship isn't working. Maybe someday if you change your mind and start being accepting again, I'll reconsider. But right now, being in this relationship, romantic or platonic, is just too difficult for me. After I said that, I went full no contact with him and moved to the nearest big city with a population of 1.5 million people. Good for you. I'm glad that you did that. It was incredibly important to do because what the fuck? What the fuck? Anyway, cut to a few years later, I graduated college, had a steady job, and was feeling kind of lonely. So I decided to download a few dating apps. After matching with this guy, he seemed a great guy and we shared loads of hobbies. He was super likable and he was pretty hot. After texting for a week, we finally agreed to meet up in a quite nice restaurant. Cut to the night of the date and I get a text from him to go to the table because he'll be a little late. My brain of course jumped to, fuck, he's not coming, is he? Lo and behold, he shows up. But the problem is, it was James. He sits down and goes, hey, dead name. I'm just sitting there in complete shock. So fair. What the fuck? What the fuck? Anyway, I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, he had changed for the better. I love this hope here because he straight up just catfished you. I don't think there's any hope here. He used someone else's photos just to manipulate you into going on a date with him. Once we ordered food, he immediately springs into a lecture on how you can't change your gender, and it seems to go on for years. I say I need to go to the bathroom, thinking I'll slip out on the way. He follows me to the bathroom and screams at me for using the woman's. I had completely medical transition when this happened. What the fuck is going on here? Oh my god. It's astounding to me that this man, like, you were in a relationship for 4 years and he was fully accepting of your trans identity. And now he's yelling at you for using the bathroom. Like, this is insane. It's so fucking sad. And so, like, what the fuck? Anyway, after that nightmare of an interaction, I just decide to run and leave. He starts to follow me to my apartment. I call one of my male friends to come over and help me feel safer. My friend does come over and he sleeps on my couch overnight. A few weeks later, a letter comes into my postbox. It was from the courts. It said, James, surname, has entered a complaint against you in the small claims court. I showed up to my court date. There was James, well dressed in a suit, arguing that I owed him the money for the food I ordered at that restaurant. He also said that I was committing fraud by saying I was a trans woman on dating apps because according to him, there is no such thing as a trans woman. They are just confused men. Anyway, he lost and now we've moved to a different country. I'm very sorry for that massive rant, by the way. I just felt like I needed to get it out into the world. Holy shit. What an actual nightmare. Oh my god. The fact that he straight up just like stalked you. Like, imagine being that upset and hurt over it. Like, what the fuck, bro? Why did you feel the need to do that? I'm so baffled by this. It's terrifying. Just being in a relationship with someone for 4 years and then like years later catfishing them just to yell at them about their identity. Like, bro, get a life, man. Surely you have better things to do than harass women. Like, surely there are better things you could be doing with your time. The brainwashing of like Jehovah's Witness is fascinating to me because that seemed to happen so quickly and it started like when he was an adult as well, which makes it so much more interesting. Like, I'm so curious about the psychology behind it and like what is said and how they go about this brainwashing and how it is so clearly effective on some people and then other people do the opposite where they like learn about the world and leave. And it's fascinating to go the other way and to be an adult and hear all of this and become indoctrinated into it, as opposed to like meeting queer people and realizing, oh, they're just people and leaving it. Like, you don't hear about it going the other way quite as much, you know? And I'm so fascinated by it and by like how he was able to change his entire person in such a short amount of time to the point where he like harassed someone that he like really loved. Really sorry. That really fucking sucks. Holy shit. This one's really short, and it just says, last summer while I was on vacation in Bulgaria, I matched with a guy. He started asking me unhinged questions about what I would do if he was in my stomach being digested. He asked me if I would masturbate while he was inside my digestive system, and it was honestly really weird. Yep. What? That's gotta be a kink of some sort, right? Like, I'm really taken aback, but how do you... Getting a message like that would be so baffling. Imagine receiving a message that says, what would you do if you were digesting me right now? Would you like be jerking off? I'm sorry. What did you just say to me? What words just came out of your mouth right now? I'm sorry. I need like you to take several steps back because what? Speechless. Because why do you ask this to a stranger? I mean, it's weird to ask to anybody, but asking to a complete stranger? How many times has this gotten a response? I'm curious to know. I always think this when people send messages like this. I'm like, has this ever worked for you? Has this ever gone anywhere when you start a conversation like this? Because I don't think it will ever work out for you. We met at a pub. He seemed nice, but looking back, there was huge red flags right away when he started trauma dumping, telling me, allegedly, his wife, who was a stripper, and 3 children all died in a car accident where a dump truck ran into them and he didn't know because he was in a coma in Germany because he was in the Canadian Special Forces on tour overseas and got blown up with an IED. So anyways, he's in a coma when his family all dies at the same time, so they don't tell him until he wakes up. That is a handful and a half to be told upon first meeting someone. Oh my god, that's intense. What do you say to that? How do you respond to that? Anyways, he's telling me all this within a couple hours of meeting, and I'm naive and gullible and believed and felt so bad for him. So when we're done at the pub, he asks if I want to come run errands with him to Rona, like a hardware tool garden center type store. So I say sure. So we drop my car off at my house and I ride in his truck to Rona, and he's returning a tool set because it was missing a piece. But gee, so weird it's taking long. Customer service folks keep going back, etc. We're hanging out talking, waiting for them to return and exchange the tool set. Until the cops walk in, handcuff and detain him. Turns out he's been running this scam all over town at different Ronas where he'd buy something, steal a piece or part, and then return it. But the truck is his friend's that he's borrowed, so he asked me to drive this huge old 70s truck back to his friend's and gives me the money to cab home. That was a lot. That was a lot. I'm curious though, was that first part actually true? Like, you said you were gullible so you believed it, but you also didn't say anywhere that he confessed that it didn't happen. So like, did that actually happen? Because that's intense. Horrible if that did actually happen to him. And absolutely so intense to be sharing that with someone within 2 hours of knowing them. Oh my God. And then to dump all of that on you and then take you to like commit fraud. Why did he need you there for that? That's so, like, what? I'm so confused. Imagine going on a first date with someone. They dump like the most intense trauma on you. And then like take you to a hardware store to return something and then get arrested and then ask you to drive a truck to some random person's house. That's a lot for a first date. That's a lot for any date or any day. Wow. I hope you're doing all right, because that sounds like the most ridiculously intense day ever, but a story. A great story to tell, because, you know, this doesn't happen to many people, I wouldn't imagine. I have so many questions. But yeah, I am curious. Was it true? Was he lying? What was the point in lying? Is he just a compulsive liar? Like, I'm missing some information. There was the time that I posted what I thought was a super cute photo of me wearing a chunky necklace that was not usually my style, but made me super confident. And I matched with a guy, and his opening line was, "Do you know what would make a cuter necklace? My hands around your neck." Since I hadn't experienced choking without prior consent, I was freaked out to say the least. Even if you had experienced choking with consent prior to this, I think being freaked out is the complete appropriate response. What the fuck? Don't say that to someone. That is a threat, sir. Oh my God. Imagine just wearing a necklace and someone's like, "You know what would look better? My hand around your throat." Did you just threaten to kill me? No, sir. Absolutely the fuck not. If you're going to be talking about like consensual choking, you've got to wait until you actually get the consent part first. You can't just be saying that to anyone, especially as a first message. Oh my God, learn some boundaries. Don't do that. Fuck's sake. There's this one where a screenshot of me, a trans woman, matching with this person on Hinge. After this, he proceeds to say, "Sorry, that was rude," and blocks me. And basically, she replied to his photo and said, "You are like super cute. Ah." And then he replied, "I love pussy," F slur, with the peace emoji, lip emoji, tongue emoji. You could have just like left it. You know, going back to what I said at the beginning here of like trans people on dating apps, I'm so fucking sorry for all the bullshit you have to tolerate. Like, this is so unnecessary. Like, I love him then being like, "Sorry, that was rude," and then blocking you. You know what you could have done instead? Just not been an asshole. Maybe just leave it. If you don't want to date a trans person, you could just like leave it. You don't have to go and then like be transphobic to them. You don't have to say anything. You can just like, if you don't want to match with someone because you don't like them, you don't have to. You can just like swipe and carry on. You don't have to reply. It's okay. These people exhaust me. So I, 21 male, matched with this guy, 24 male, on a dating app, and we set up a meetup at a local bar. I walked low-key nervous because this was my first date after a bad breakup with my long-term boyfriend. And there he was in a dim corner, hoodie on and a giant fucking smile, way too intense for a first date. And we started off chatting about music. My favorite song started playing, so that's where that topic came from. And movies, and everything seemed chill at first. But then he dropped the bomb that changed the whole vibe. He leaned in and honestly, in a hushed tone, said, Everything happened for a reason. Like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I asked what he meant and he went off about how every choice I made, every swipe, every moment leading up to that very night was part of some grand scheme that brought me right to him. That's pretty intense. For a first date, that is very, very intense. I would feel so uncomfortable sitting on a first date and they just go, everything happens for a reason. Everything you've ever done has led you right here to me. That kind of almost gives off murdery vibes, if we're being completely honest. Like, that's a little bit intense. I understand saying that when you're like well into the relationship. You can get a bit further in when you're like actually like love each other, like you're in love. Sure, maybe then you can say, you want to sit here on a first date when I don't know the first thing about you and be like, fate led you to me. No, back off. I couldn't tell if he was just trying to be deep or funny or if he actually believed that the universe had meticulously arranged our meeting. He kept pointing out how even the placement of the chairs, the dim lighting, and the background music all felt like clues that we were meant to cross paths. It was like reading a script from a cosmic conspiracy forum, insisting that every detail of the night was preordained. See, yeah, like I understand believing in fate and whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. But like, it's kind of creepy when you're on a first date to sit there and point out every little thing and be like, it was meant to be. It's a first date. I need you to calm down a little bit. You're making people uncomfortable. I sat there half amused and half creeped out, trying to figure out if this was just his quirky way of breaking the ice or if he genuinely thought I was conducted by fate into that moment. Now he went on and on about how we were connected for 1 hour and had multiple beers in this time frame. I didn't feel like drinking, so I just ordered a fucking Dr. Pepper because I have to go to work at the crack of dawn and I don't handle my alcohol well. He started complaining that I was ruining his vibe by not drinking, and at this point I'm freaked out. Yeah, that's fair. As I said at the start, can almost give weird murdery vibes, and then he's like, how dare you not drink? You're killing my vibe. Hey man, first date and you're pressuring me into drinking? Big red flag. Why do you need me to be drinking, sir? I'm sorry. You made the choice to drink. I'm making the choice not to. If you're uncomfortable with me not drinking, I am uncomfortable with you, period. At this point, he's had 6-ish beers in an hour. He's drunk 6 beers in an hour on a first date? Bro. What the fuck? At this point, he's had 6 beers and he asks me to go back to his place with him. And I drop the bomb that I'm trans and don't really want to have sex with him on the first date. Long story short, we say our goodbyes and he calls an Uber. So I wait with him and I look over his shoulder to see him swiping on some dating app. But for the sake of the story, I thought it was like Grindr or something. I love going on a first date with someone and then they're like, want to come back to my place, and you say no. So while still on the date, you go and try to find a hookup. That's so funny. At least wait for them to get in their Uber. Like, bro. I've gone on back-to-back dates before once in my past when I went on a date with someone that I did not like and then called someone that I did like to come pick me up. But I waited until I left the other guy first, you know? Like, have some class. You can do that, all right? You don't need to be on a dating app whilst you are still with the person you're on a date on. Wait literally 5 minutes. You'll be okay. So we both are home at this point and it's the next afternoon. I go to text him to make sure it's clear that I don't want another date and bro blocked me. 3 to 4 hours of my life wasted. Happy to say I never went on a dating app again and soon met the love of my life who I want to marry. That's really cute. I'm glad it worked out in the end. Hilarious that he's the one who blocked you after he's the one who is like incredibly inappropriate and just fucking creepy as hell. But I'm glad in the end it worked out. Everything worked out for the better and you have a fun story to tell, because that's a pretty interesting date, because you know, some people are just so strange. Like, I understand we all have our thing, but I feel like you need to be able to read the room a little bit sometimes, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm glad you met the love of your life. This person just encountered someone on Hinge and the first prompt just says, I'm convinced that I'll probably hate you. Why is that the first thing on your Hinge profile? Why are you on Hinge if you are out here just being like, I hate women? You should be the exception. Do you want to be the exception? I hate most women, but like maybe you'll be the one. You should match with me and then we'll find out who's matching with you if the first thing they read about you is that I'll probably hate you. No one wants that, bro. No one wants that energy. You're gonna be alone forever. You like say shit like this and they're like, why don't women like me? Women are the worst. Women are so terrible. And like they only want like hot men who are like fit all these impossible standards. And yet you are just out here actively being like, I hate women. Love me. Fuck right off, bro. Fuck all the way off. What is wrong with you? Oh my god. When I first moved to London, I didn't know anyone. Being alone in a huge city is overwhelming and lonely, so I turned to dating apps. At the very least, I get out there, meet people, and explore a bit. Relate to this so hard. This was me when I first moved to London as well. Absolutely, completely get it. I've been there. I get it. I matched with this guy and we talked for a bit, and we agreed to meet in public for a drink at around 6 p.m. So far, so normal. Then around 1 p.m, he messages, I'm nearly done with my plans for the day. We can meet earlier if you want. I didn't want to seem chronically available, self-respect and all that. So I said, I can't right now, but how about 4 p.m? He agreed. Great. Cut to me standing outside Greenwich Tube Station at 4 p.m, messaging him to say, I've arrived. He replies, be there in 5 minutes. Cool. It's December, it's snowing, it's cold. 10 minutes pass, nothing. I message him again. Be there in 5. Another 10 minutes. 5 minutes. At this point, I'm an icicle. I check the train times and think, if he's not here in 10 minutes, I'm going home. You waited far longer than you should have. I respect it. Well, I understand it because like once you've waited for a certain period of time, you're like, it would be such a waste to go back now. It's like that diamond meme, you know, of like digging for diamonds and then right before you get it, you turn around. However, if you're going out with someone who says I'll be there in 5 minutes, like 10 times to the point it's been 45 minutes, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be diamonds. However, in saying that, I probably would have done the same, so I get it. Unfortunately for me, he did arrive. And he looked nothing like his photos. If he hadn't enthusiastically power walked up to me, I wouldn't have recognized him at all. Not my type. Immediate ick. But hey, I was already here. I figured I'd at least be polite and give it a shot. Then the red flags started piling up. First, he immediately tries to hold my hand. Sir, I don't even know you. And you made me wait in the snow for half an hour. I sidestepped the attempt. Who is trying to hold a hand? The moment you meet someone. Sir. Oh my god, calm down. Don't do that. We literally only just met. I will hug people when I first meet them. Do I hug men when I first meet them? I haven't gone out on a date with a man for a fucking long ass time. I don't remember, but I will hug women and non-binary people when I meet them in a dating situation or otherwise. But like holding hands, too intimate. Next he says, follow me, and power walks a full 5 paces ahead of me until we reach the river. I'm confused because we agreed on drinks, but okay. Power walking in front of your date is definitely a move, especially when he tried to hold your hand. Does that mean, was he going to hold your hand and just drag you? He wants to like power walk incredibly fast and he's like, I don't have patience for someone walking behind me. I'm just gonna drag them with me. Is that what he was trying to do? He stops, points dramatically at the pitch black water and announces, London has a beach. I stared at him. Was this a joke? Did he think I was an idiot? And then standing there in the freezing dark, alone with a man giving me every possible red flag, my brain just went, lol, this is how I die. I do love a man taking you in the dark to show you the Thames and just go, London has a beach. It's like, bro, I'm new to London. I do know about the River Thames though. It's kind of like, you know, a massive thing here. I think we're all a little bit aware of it. I didn't ask you to be my tour guide. I asked to go out for drinks, but thank you. Anyway, after an eternity of awkward silence, he finally asks, so do you want to do something else? Obviously, I'd been outside for 45 minutes. We were supposed to be getting a drink. I'm obsessed with meeting at the tube station, power walking ahead of you, pointing to the Thames and going, London has a beach, and then turning around and going, okay, do you want to go home now? You haven't even had a conversation. What? I'm so confused. How did you think that was a date? What? Okay. In this case, I probably would have been like, yeah, no, it's getting late, actually. I'm gonna fucking dip. I wouldn't, but like, would be smart, right? So we head to a bar. He gestures to a seat for me to sit in and then just walks off. At this point, I do something I never do. I text my mom, if I don't message you in an hour, call me. This date is terrible. I'm not trying to be rude, but I need an excuse to leave. She replies, got it. He returns and announces, they don't serve coffee. What? He hadn't even asked what I wanted. It was a bar on a Saturday night. I wasn't expecting coffee. I just go, okay, I'll have a rum and coke. Side note, I would have been happy to buy my own drink, but I just sat there in shock and allowed him to get me the first one. I'll get the next round, I thought. He orders for both of us. Now, I have been drugged before, so I was wary, but after one sip, I knew I was fine. He wasn't that awful. Then came the conversations, or rather, the monologue, about castles. Which, okay, have a hobby. Love that for you. But he didn't even care about the history. He just liked going to castles. I love a castle as much as the next person, but to not even care about the history seemed weird. Yeah, that is a little strange. I love loving castles, but also knowing nothing about castles. What was the point? What was he even saying? Just explaining the times he's been to castles, so thus having conversation entirely around himself and not castles in general. Just being like, I went to this castle and did this at this castle, and I did this at this castle. And the conversation is just entirely about him, not even the thing he cares about, in just like a weird way. Because I can understand how that's a bit infuriating, especially when it's not being reciprocated and asking you anything about yourself. He asks if I've been to Scotland. I say no. He then launches into an epic about Scottish castles, which, fine. But when he finally pauses, he asks again, so, have you been to Scotland? Sir, no, I still haven't been to Scotland since you last asked me, but thank you so much for paying attention. The table across the room laughs. They have absolutely clocked that it's a first date going terribly. I was done. I downed my drink, and he asked if I wanted to go somewhere else, and I said, yes, home, alone. He power walks me back to the tube station, still 5 paces ahead of me. I say, thanks for the drink, and I leave. I assume we're both on the same page. That was a disaster. It lasted less than an hour. No second date. If only it was that easy. Men don't ever think that. Men sitting there and talking about themselves for an hour means they think the date went incredibly and you love them. And of course you want a second date because you want to sit there and listen to him talk about himself again for another hour. So naturally, he messages, what are you up to? I reply, eating ice cream. Ben and Jerry are the only men I want to spend time with tonight. That's brilliant. I'm obsessed with that. He does not take the hint. Instead, he starts talking at me about paperwork. Okay, party on, dude. I stop replying. Then out of nowhere, he messages, some girls asked for nudes. Okay, congrats. I think he was trying to make me jealous, but it wasn't working. Then he follows up with, well, that was a while ago. Okay. Then he asks if I want one. I say, no thank you, but this motherfucker sends one anyway. And friends, this is a bit crude of me to say, but this was a flaccid penis picture, sweaty looking, on a wooden bench. Sir, if you can't even get excited about taking the photo, what makes you think anyone would be excited to receive it? I had so many questions, none of which I wanted answered. Safe to say, I blocked him immediately. Correct move. What the fuck? Oh my god, I love being like, some girls have asked for nudes. Okay? What do you want me to do about that? How you want me to feel jealous about other girls asking you for nudes, despite us only having talked for 1 hour on a date. And like sending dick pics after being explicitly told, hey, please don't send me nudes. Bro, why did you even ask if you were going to do it anyway? What was the point of asking if you were just going to disrespect the answer? And then again, a flaccid dick pic on a wooden bench. Like, why? In what world do you think that's a good photo? And in what world do you think that she would want to receive that, especially after saying no? I'm baffled. Men confuse the hell out of me. Glad you blocked him. Obviously was deserved. I hope this man is no longer on dating apps. This was just, yeah, a little bit of a nightmare of a date. He sounds like an interesting person who doesn't really care about anyone outside of himself. Yeah, that's really all. He really needs to learn how to hold conversations and care about other people and what they want and need, because this entire thing just being like, oh, she's fine waiting in the snow. Oh, she's fine listening to me talk about myself without any conversation including her at all. Oh, she's fine just walking 5 paces behind me. She doesn't need to be able to like see me or know where we're going. She's fine with me ordering the drinks for her and deciding what we're gonna, like, bro. Bro. Yeah, well, at least you found out quickly. Didn't waste your time any longer. I always have a lot of fun reading emails when I do these. I have not done a Dear Kiwi video for a really long time. So if you enjoyed it, please do not forget to leave a like. If you want to see another one, please let me know and I will think up more things for you to email me so I can go through them. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Bobby, Ellie, Chris, Samuel, Knitting Menace, Radsack, Mr. Noodle, Lady Nutbar, Ella, Queen Glimmer, River, Phenomenally, Jesse, Phil the Duck, Uh-Oh, It's Craiglow, Blaze, Blue Kitsune 24, MA Ping the Games, Joy, L James D, Prismatic, and Beckett. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. And if anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/StavyCat or click the link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos 1 to 5 days early and ad-free for those days. Another thank you to Fume for sponsoring today's video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes, you replay